So hello everybody. I, you know, I want to start with just a little bit, I guess a little bit something personal, which I know that this is what we're bringing forth here with the She Is Me. It's taking that opportunity to get to know each other on a very human level and see how it has brought us to the place that we are. So whether you're a participant, whether you're a presenter, I'm in the presenter role, but I am also a representation of you. There's a part of us, and each one of us is carrying a little piece of each other. And yet we're our own unique human beings. So what I was really coming forth to share about is a lot about your life path. Um, and I think there are many ways that you get to where you get to. And I'll share a little bit about my own personal journey. And and you may hear bits and pieces of yourself in that. And because I also focus a lot on the lens of astrology, life path astrology, and I integrate that into some other ways, there's a piece of us because of the cosmos, right? The cosmos is in each one of us, and the stars and the planets, um, they're all inside of us, and they're all sort of fueling us. And maybe we know about that, and maybe we don't, and maybe we can utilize it, once we have awareness. And that's kind of what I'm all about in a nutshell. But I'm really thrilled to be here. I will say that from a very young age, I was incredibly sensitive. I had, and you name it, foods, hugely sensitive to foods. I had a lot of infections as a kid. Um, Energy, very sensitive to energy, chemicals, fluoride. I remember, going to the dentist, and I told my mom, I'm like, Mom, I can't go anymore. I feel sick every time. And that was because of the fluoride. So thankfully, I got out of fluoride treatments, which are hugely toxic. But this sensitivity really seemed like an albatross to me when I was younger. I'd go home early from birthday parties. I'd get sick because either it was too much energy or the food that I was eating wasn't agreeing with me. Um, and I reached a point where I kind of shut down, and I got into protection mode. And I started to hide inside. I started doing ballet at the age of 5. I started to hide inside of the discipline of ballet, and it was a nice little shelter for me. It had definitely its own issues and its own toxicities and its own intensity for such a sensitive being, but it also offered me a shelter. And as I progressed on my journey, I ended up in my early mid-teens, um, uh, very depressed. I mean, very, very so depressed that I was ready to exit my life if I had had the courage. If I had had the courage to do that. I had exercise bulimia. I had severe stomach issues, like debilitating pain, migraines. I was diagnosed as infertile at age 16. And I really didn't want to be in my body in my life. I remember looking down and like feeling like, can I just get rid of this flesh? So there was a lot of body and self-hatred. Certainly no ability to embrace who I am and myself and my physicality and my being. I numbed out. I wanted to numb out the pain. I wanted to numb out the discomfort. I wanted to numb out my sensitivity by starving and then binging. I also, I put myself in situation, or, I ended up in situations where there was, sexual violation. I really didn't have any boundaries or sense of self. So I didn't know how to deal with that, and it felt like another way to escape. I would socially isolate, detach, and really felt completely alone. really. And I hit what I call rock bottom. I had that dark night of the soul, and I was probably about 20. I was getting my BFA and in dance, and every day for the last 15 years, I woke up and I wanted to dance. That was my saving grace. Woke up, wanted to dance, wanted to create in that way. That day, I woke up, I went to the studio, and I couldn't do it anymore. I was emotionally, physically, spiritually at rock bottom. I collapsed on the dance floor. I no longer felt any drive or desire to do this. And I was pretty sick on every level. I really was. And I was probably on the edge of some very of self-destructing, to be completely honest. But there was a little awakening that happened in that moment. So I collapsed. I didn't know what to do. I stared at the ceiling. But I heard a voice. And I remember this so clearly. That voice that said, "You can feel better." I had no idea what that was at the time. Now looking back, I really call that an angel. I heard the words, "You can feel better." I had no idea how that looked, how that would look. I can remember the words of my father too, at that time, and he asked me one day, "What are you running away from?" Because I was running away from myself. So in that moment, that little voice honestly saved me. Again, I didn't know what this was going to look like, but I completely left the dance world that I had been in since the age of 5. It was my identity. It was my path. It was all I knew. It was what I ate, drank, breathed, sleep. Even when I traveled, I would still dance. I would still find a way. Needless to say, I had a really big identity crisis. And, I just started seeking. I started seeking because I was fueled by this divine message from that voice and the spirit within. And I began physically healing. I began, searching out different modalities, nutrition. I knew my eating was definitely not good. Starving and then eating garbage, binging on garbage. I got initiated to the idea of rest, of actually resting, of having space to be with myself, but also space to rest, which was extraordinarily challenging. I started to learn about plants and connect with nature, and honor the sun and the moon, which I never paid any attention to. And I did this, and I will say, I did this all naturally. No antidepressants. I never went on antidepressants, which is incredible. No drugs. I healed my emotions. I went down the healing of the emotions, doing the inner work, going to yoga, cleaning up my diet, going to acupuncture, being in nature, all of these things, which sort of just started to under the I don't know, underneath the surface, heal gradually, slowly, healing spiritually through my yoga practice, through learning about astrology, the moon and the sun, and some of these esoteric sciences, discovering what it meant to be sensitive and feel, and not shutting down, opening my third eye. I got a spiritual mentor. I started to discover meditation. And what I saw was that the spiritual piece, all the pieces were important, but the spiritual piece was the key that really pulled it all together. But that wasn't the doorway I went through, and that's fine because I needed to go through the other doorway in order to reach that realization. And that's what took it to the next level. And, you know, I am grateful every day because I can safely say at, 25 plus years after that breakdown, I am healthier and more vital, happier, content, at ease, and the most important, at home in my body, at home in my skin. I feel strong. I feel confident on my path, stronger than I ever have with all those hours in the studio and training and exercising and pushing, and I wasn't strong. I was quite weak. I feel vital. I feel, like I'm here to I have the energy to even bring forth my message. In relationships, I no longer am hiding. I no longer have that detachment, that protection. I can actually relate to other people. And I in fact have brought that into my work too, with integrating the astrology in couples, being able to bring in some of that wisdom. Uh, Through that process of weaving in astrology, cycles of nature, yin, which is a Taoist principle, healing the yin, healing the feminine, bringing in these practices in with holistic health, holistic nutrition, which I had gotten my training in, that weaving in kind of the astrological, Taoist yin feminine principles along with these holistic nutrition, that was a special twist that I really found helped up the level of ease in my healing, in the manifestation of the direction that I was to go in. That it wasn't one or the other. It wasn't just the physical, right? And at this point, there is this flow of people, opportunities, support. I have a business that continues to grow and evolve. I work with my clients all over the world, getting to support them on their on their individual journey. That I have the creative energy now. Um, I would say things that might be deemed like success, which I only say is when you feel in alignment, right? That comes so much more easily than before, where it felt like I was pushing, I was doing, I was taking that old, more masculine approach. And when I say masculine and feminine, we all have masculine and feminine inside of us, right? It doesn't matter what gender we identify with. It doesn't even matter if there is no, sort of gender label that's assigned. These energies are inside of us, and I believe that firmly. And it's, how do we work with them? How do we align with what's going to have us understand where we need to go and how we need to operate? I was really able to take everything I learned and start to decode and deeply understand my challenges. What are my stumbling blocks? Oh, I feel very sensitive. I might be prone to escapism, to hiding, to detaching emotionally. These were all invaluable gifts that I got to discover, along with, what does my body say to me? What does my body really want? And when I can have that conversation, that's when it's literally like, I know. A decision comes, I know. And and to know what my strengths are and where I can focus. Incredible. And where do I need support? Where do I need to go for that? Each one of us is a beautiful, unique, divine, ever evolving creation and creator, or what I like to say, creatrix for the feminine version. Creator, creatrix. We have incredible capacity inside of us. And I really invite you, as you're watching this, to not put a label on yourself. Doesn't matter what you do or what other people tell you that you are, or the media or anything, that there is a divinity inside of you, and that when you can discover that and you get to reveal your powerful inner GPS, which is there, it's tremendous. And I've seen this with myself. I've seen it with, people that I work with over, almost 20 years that I've been doing this. I have never felt more aligned with my path at this point in the game. And it's been an evolution. I have a deep understanding of my body blueprint, which is something that I have now created, where I weave the birth chart, intuition, body wisdom, relationship with self, cycles of nature, what I call circadian medicine, appropriate sacred cleansing, and sensual pleasure. That's a really key one. Also integrating neurotransmitters. So I told you I had severe depression. This wasn't, I just was a little blue. I had severe depression. And so I've understood now the brain and working from that scientific standpoint. And I still know what to do if I'm stressed, if I go through a little bit of a traumatic experience, maybe I need to take care of that. And that's something that I work with intimately with my clients. Being able to use sensuality as a power, sensitivity as a power. So I want to actually take you into, I mentioned something, okay? One of the doorways that I have found now for myself on my path, but also over the years of working with everybody that I've worked with, is what I call creating space. When we integrate yin practices, I teach something called yin yoga. This is about creating space. It's about creating space in your body. And when you have this felt sense of spaciousness, I think viscerally, then you know what needs to be created. And there's also space for the stress to start to dissolve. When you feel stressed, there's like this lockdown. There's not a feeling of spaciousness, right? Not enough time, I don't have enough energy. I just feel wound up. It's about creating space. And part of what I have found that's hugely, like I said, sort of the gateway in, is sacred cleansing, or what I would call conscious cleansing, a way to mind, body, spirit clear space, and therefore create space for then what needs to come in. Huge clarity, huge understanding. So we're just going to have a little exercise. This is what I call, this is something that I might integrate in some of my conscious cleansing programs. So I invite you to just take a moment wherever you are. Hopefully, maybe not if you're driving, because there's going to be a distraction there. And you might even want to place your hand on your heart. I'm wearing my heart necklace just for that. So you can place your hand on your heart, and you can close your eyes. And just begin by breathing into your heart. Notice what you feel there. So sometimes there's a tendency to really live, from the neck up. Now we're really breathing into the heart. Almost like you can expand and contract the heart center. As you feel yourself settle into your heart, into your body, I just invite you to ask the question, what is my body telling me? And just trust whatever comes up. It could be a color, it could be an image, it could be a word, it could be nothing, but don't search for it. Ask the question, what are you telling me, body? What are you telling me, or what is my body telling me? There's no right or wrong answer. None. And whatever comes up is right in this moment. And then you can even ask a second question. What is my soul telling me? What does my soul want to tell me even? Again, trust it. You may not even get something, that's fine. That means just come back to this. Ask again. Keep asking. This is about opening up the conversation. Opening up the conversation with your body and with your higher knowing or your soul. If you can do this daily, I would be surprised if big things didn't start to happen. Now, again, it's just a practice. It's a conversation. Sometimes, you ask a question, you feel like nothing's there, but be open. Be open. And just see what comes up. And by taking that moment, you're creating the space for something to come in, for the gift, for the support, for the knowing. And I mean, reach out to me, let me know how that is, because I love, love, love hearing about these things. And yeah, it fills me up. So whatever you get, you can always find me. I know that my information is somewhere around my website, but then social media. I am my name on Facebook, Instagram. I am Mahayogini, Mahayyogini. But I really do love, love hearing from all of you. It's wonderful. It creates community. It allows us to be connected and inspired. So I invite you into that exercise. I invite you into what is present for you. And there's a link that's being shown up here right now on the screen for a little free gift that I want to offer. I mentioned the moon. I mentioned nature. It's a huge one. I integrate a lot of this into the work that I do when I'm reading birth charts. I do a moon circle. I follow the moon. I do rituals around this. It's very powerful. It's very powerful to connect with that energy. I think I'm going to say especially as a woman, but for anyone. I've got men in my moon circle. But this is it's a very simple meditation. You can download the audio. It's short, but yet really powerful. Really helps you to connect to your creative core. It helps to nourish the yin, which is very balancing during stressful times. And I would like to see somebody that hasn't been stretched, especially over the last year. There's been an elevation in that. It will help balance hormones. It helps to detox the nervous system. So this is where stress gets stored in our nervous systems, especially these days. It's really vital to do this. It will also help cleanse your endocrine system. So help support the thyroid, boost metabolism, balance moods, and support healthy brain function, regain clarity and inspiration. So this short little meditation that you can download, I invite you to do it. Again, that link is being flashed on the screen. I don't think I'll say it, but I do invite you to do that, and again, reach out and let me know, how things go. And again, having gone to the literal depths of, I didn't know if I was going to get up off that floor. And I won't say that it was overnight. It wasn't. It was a process. I went through a lot, and I was very dedicated to the process because I had my little spiritual support, right? And I was resistant to doing maybe some of the things that I could have done sooner. I was resistant. I had my own blocks, which, gosh, if I had known about, the power of my birth chart back then, might have been faster, might have catalyzed it a little bit. So that's what I'm super passionate about, helping you with, helping those that I work with, is like, let's understand ourselves. Let's understand ourselves at a very deep and cosmic level. And I hear it again and again, like, this is it. And it's like, once that doorway opens, there's such a much deeper understanding, and you can walk through that doorway with grace, with ease, and with vitality, which is key. We need to be vital. We need to be healthy and vital in this physical body, right? Otherwise, how are our spirits going to express themselves? So, I just want to I want to thank you for watching. I don't get to see you, so that's why I definitely invite you to reach out to me. I really welcome that, and I'm always building up community, and we need to come together. We need to come together and know that we're out there. So I just honor you on your path. Can't wait to connect with you. Please do download your audio. Let me know how you enjoy it. I think it's probably all of like 8 minutes long or something like that. So it's a real easy one to do, especially nice at night, but anytime.